started doing Kaizens in 1999, and our very first Kaizen team was doing setup reduction on our molding machines. Since that time, we've done about 500 Kaizen events, and still today we're doing Kaizen events on setup reduction.
Today we're going to observe a mold change in an injection molding machine.
There are countless benefits to implementing a setup reduction program. One is WIP reduction. If you reduce your setups to a very low number, you can then think about reducing your lot sizes, which is very beneficial when you're creating flow. Two, by reducing your setup times, you could be increasing the capacity of a known bottleneck. And that could be leveraged in an organization as well. Three is it supports the mixed model environment, which is so crucial for companies that run very small lot sizes and very broad mix of product range. Four, it is a precondition to implementing a strong Kanban system, a pull system.
We started with about $3.6 million of work in process inventory in our facility, and today, almost 9 years later, that number is about $470,000. And during that time period, we have increased our business about 35–40%. The key benefits to reducing setup time is inventory reduction and ultimately on-time delivery. Over the years since 1999, we've done setup reduction events on many of our machines. This particular machine that we're going to see today, we've done about 9 Kaizen events, full week Kaizen events, as well as 2-day point Kaizens. And it's important for us too, that once we do those Kaizen events, to spread that knowledge and take that knowledge and spread it to the other machines that are out there on the shop floor. There was also some concern about if we do a changeover faster, was it going to be safe? And of course, we've proven that that process is safer, it's faster, and it allows us to, well, it really allows us to do two things. It allows us to link our processes together by actually linking assembly with molding, so the parts are flowing from molding to assembly, one-piece flow. Where flow isn't possible, or we haven't figured out how to do flow yet, it enables us to implement a pull system, and the pull system links the two processes together, and that keeps our inventory really low. We wouldn't be able to accomplish one-piece flow or a pull system if we had long setups. So reducing our setup time is really critical to achieving those objectives. The consultants really give us a great perspective. You know, they've seen how other companies have done their changeovers. They can kind of help us through the doubt of, you know, can we really do this? Is this really going to work for us? They give us a very nice body of knowledge to draw from, and they're also kind of our conscience. You know, it's easy to say, well, you know, a 15-minute changeover is good enough, and a consultant can say, no, I've seen these done in 5 minutes, you guys can do 5 minutes too. What you're ultimately doing as well is making smaller and smaller batches. And those smaller batches enable you to be more responsive to your customer requirements. When they place an order, you can do a quick change and produce exactly what they need when they need it.
Time, 2 hours and 43 minutes, mold change.
So these parts are made over in molding, and they come over to the assembly area via a Kanban signal. And that's our pull system. So when the customer, which is assembly, consumes these parts, there's a signal that goes to molding, and they know to make more of these. And that's one of the tools that we use to keep our inventory low, and we're able to do that by having short setup times.
So now, after a few Kaizen events, we've implemented some things here. We've actually separated the externals and the internals. Externals are things you can do while the machine is still running. If you remember before Kaizen, we used to have to go and retrieve the die from the warehouse. Now we've staged the molds in front of the press, which are easier to locate and less travel distance. Before Kaizen, we used to disconnect individual water lines. Here you can see we're running off a manifold system where we have one supply and one return on each half. You can see it's much easier this way. What he'll do now is remove the bolts. Before you were removing clamps, now you're just removing bolts. You can notice on this mold, each mold has plates on it. And on the plates, all the molds are at the same die height. This reduces adjustment in the setup. We no longer have to adjust the die height because they're all at the same height. The safety bar has a slot in it, which it actually easily goes back on. When before he had to remove bolts and put bolts on. By practicing Kaizen, we actually cut a mold change down from 2 hours and 43 minutes to 10 minutes and 49 seconds.
You know, you've been able to see the before setup technique, and we were able to see the after as well, and even that after, we're really proud of results like 10 minutes and 49 seconds. But even with that, there's still a ton of opportunities. And I'm sure that we'll be doing Kaizen events, setup reduction Kaizen events for the next 9 years, and I'm sure 9 years after that.
So with all these benefits, there's improvement in throughput, there's a better on-time delivery to your customer. This is why companies really seek looking at SMED, single minute exchange of dies, and implementing that in their organizations.